Cthulhu. How do you say it? What is this again? The newly Cthulhu. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Call of Cthulhu. It's actually Cthulhu, not Cthulhu. That's what I've been told. But the way I see it, once you start using it one way, both pronunciations are acceptable. You know, if it's your native language. Well, Israeli really our native language. Anyway, when this game came out, I was actually surprised because I had actually just started getting into Eldritch horror and such. So you'll have to forgive me. My knowledge of H.P. Lovecraftian stuff is still very let's say amateurish. But basically, for those of you who don't know, so Call of Cthulhu is part of the H.P. Lovecraft universe. Who H.P. Lovecraft is, I should say, essentially, Lovecraftian horror is psychological horror, and it's basically based on the idea that there are these old ones, these eldritch, interdimensional alien beings of just immense power that just by knowing about them you start going crazy. And that's kind of the whole idea. And it's that it's interdimensional, it's alien, and you can see over here we have Cthulhu. So you basically, in this game, you play as a detective and you try to solve a murder. Well, you originally go there trying to discover disappearance, and you later find out murder of a woman, a local aristocrat, essentially. And we need to figure out everything that's kind of going on, and as we keep going on, we generally start finding out things aren't as they appear on the surface, and that's generally the gist of most of H.P. Lovecraft's stories. So, yeah. Have to forgive me, again, like I said earlier, my knowledge of Lovecraftian lore and canon is a little bit so yeah, but I get the basics. It's basically you have a couple of different old gods, old ones that exist, and there was a massive war in space at one point, and many of the old ones were essentially wounded, if I recall correctly. And so they landed on Earth. Some of them even made Earth, if I recall correctly. And they were essentially imprisoned and entombed under the Earth. And there they sleep, but they exert their influence to try to rise up and gain power over mortals. And we're not exactly sure what they want per se. It's because they're eldritch, so you can't really possibly know what their ambitions. So. But a lot of times it results in cults doing like sacrificial worship, murders, of the likes, and a lot of magic and occult stuff gets involved. So, and a lot of H.P. Lovecraft stuff, as we see, we got the cultists and stuff. A lot of it went around his fear. So one of the major things, especially like this, definitely gets a Shadow over Innsmouth vibe, which is one of his most famous books. Is the one with the fishmen. Yeah, so that's basically part of what it kind of get that vibe, because he had a fear of the ocean and things in it. So yeah, H.P. Lovecraft was kind of a crazy, offensive guy sometimes. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say, give a fair warning. If like this is your trigger warning, if horror isn't your thing, or sea creatures, or cults, jump scares, and like cults, suicide, murder, depression, psychological, emotional distress, blood, a lot of blood, and ableism maybe isn't your thing, or you're gonna get really, or that really triggers you, definitely don't stick around. I promise I'll have some other content. I'm gonna have some CK2 up as soon as I upload this. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. As you can see, I went ahead, I played It's good 14 hours. So, yeah. So, we play as Edward Pierce. Boston, 1924. Edward Pierce. Veteran of the First World War. Johnson's memories in liquor and sleeping pills. He is now a private detective who has troubles finding a case able to lift him from his torpor. Pierce must find a new case quickly or risk losing his license. So, yeah, that's our dilemma. We're private investigator and we need to try to renew our license. Otherwise, we lose our job and we lose our source of income. So, and we are First World War veteran, and for those of you who don't know, World War I was a pretty brutal war. If I am mad, it is a mercy. May the gods pity the man who in his callousness can remain sane to the hideous end. H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, like I said, blood, gore, not so far. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I got a bit of a cold right now. Hope it doesn't cause too many issues. Yeah, sometimes you need to light things up to interact with it, and we'll find that certain things are different than others. And
my wake, hold along. Fate inescapably draws you on. What a putrid offering. Don't fight. You have been chosen. Behold. Everything has already been written. Perhaps you will attempt to change your destiny.
I hate whiskey.
that pretty much sets up our character pretty well.
I wonder why I still take these things.
Doctor prescribed him when I returned from the war. They swore that they would put an end to the nightmares, but for a while their effects have been wearing off. Use of caution. The doctor can well repeat to me that I no longer need my remedy to keep my memories at bay, but I know that if I stop, the memories will return. One of these mornings I probably won't wake up. Despite the treatment, I again hear the voices in my dreams, but they are different, unknown. They seem to surface from unfathomable and ancient depths. What nameless creature is calling me? Ah, here we are. So, so here's something. These can be increased, so that's something that's really interesting. I think I should mention. These can be upgraded through just things through over time as you level up, but these can only be upgraded by stuff in your files. So for this, you need to find, you need to increase this by essentially finding medical journals, and this you can only find by finding certain books and find occult objects. So we have currently 0 CP available. So, and for each level, we need to increase our. We need to put certain points to it. So, when last time I played, I went ahead and did investigation, eloquence, and occult. I kind of did psychology, investigation, eloquence. But I'm thinking that this time around I'll go occultism, medicine, and spot hidden. I can do any combination of things. Like, you can do all of it over time, but I like to really focus on. I really want to focus on occult this time because I want to see what I can do with that. Mental trauma, nightmares. Hang on a second. Edwin Pierce is a veteran of the First World War, where he took part in the Meuse-Argonne offensive. So, for those of you who don't know, Meuse-Argonne offensive was like the major American offensive during the war. Essentially, it was the United States. They first took a area. I believe it was a chateau of some sort. Then they pushed the Germans back into the woods, and in the woods, the U.S. had to charge into the Germans into the woods, and the battle was really close combat. And trying to get to the woods, they were under heavy fire, and it was all throughout like the line. Different regiments had to move up, and there was areas of like really intense trench fighting. And yep, it even says here he was a member of the Lost Battalion. So, Lost Battalion essentially, while the United States and the Allied and the French made a push, but they were stopped. But they stopped because they couldn't push forward. The Lost Battalion, however, kept going forward and eventually was encircled by German troops. So they had to fight their way out, and they kept trying to get support, but the other units couldn't help them. So, and it ended up happening that when they tried to send supplies, the supplies ended up on the German side, and when they tried to provide artillery support, the Allied artillery actually hit them. So you gotta imagine it was pretty messed up for anybody involved. If you were an American, you were not only getting killed by the Germans in front of you, or in starvation and infection and a bunch of other stuff, because you didn't have any supplies. You were also running out of you were running out of bullets. You were running out of supplies and guns, everything. But on top of that, your supplies that you were supposed to get was dropped over the enemy signs, and you were absolutely blown up by your own people. So, and Lost Battalion is the first New York Infantry Division, I believe. Yeah. So they were forced to hold their position for several days, surrounded by bodies of their fallen comrades without food or medical supplies. They were considered lost, essentially, and they were unable to get away but they finally broke through the line. They got out back to the sides, and I believe it was. They started with 2,000, 750 or 2,000 people, and they just ended up with 300 people left. I think. Let me check that. I kind of like being wrong. Okay, so they started off with 554 men, and about 197 of them were killed, 150 were missing or taken prisoner, and only 194 men were returned and rescued. So, yeah. That being said, they took about 300 Germans down with them, so that was interesting. So yeah. So he's traumatized by these events, and he consumes sleeping pills and liquor to ward off the nightmares. Pierce Investigation Agency. My private detective agency contracted to the Wentworth Detective Agency. After the Great War, I decided to set up in Boston, where there is no lack of work for guys like me. One small-time case follows the other. Adultery, settled scores, disappearances that are not actually disappearances. The old office couch is less comfortable than a real bed, but I should probably get rid of these empty bottles. But this place is mine for the moment. Lighter, my old lighter, guards the memory of the 77th Infantry Division. I'm sorry, it was 7th Infantry Division, in the minute of the lost battalion who fell. Yeah, so, yeah. Get like an LA noir vibe. Oh, there's also an achievement that you don't drink. Yeah, Prohibition kind of went ahead. You won't drink yet.
Been a while since I jotted down something other than my nightmares.
Police Investigation Agency. So. Basically, that's just telling me. Screw off. I'm gonna examine
Natural
everything.
sciences, linguistics, archaeology. A good old story of blackmail in a speakeasy. Married woman runs off with her girlfriend. The husband couldn't understand it. The Wentworth Agency doesn't attract top-notch cases.
Yeah.
I used to be an avid reader. Been too long since I've slept in a bed.
Uh-huh.
The Lost Battalion. Holding your position and obeying orders. That isn't courage.
Yeah, I better take a drink for this one. One last drink before we go cold, I swear.
I'm listening.
Are you Edward Pierce, private investigator contracted by the Wentworth Detective Agency?
That's correct.
Hello, Mr. Pierce. I'm Lucy Sherrifield, in charge of investigators over at Wentworth. I'm calling because of a problem with your file. A fire has destroyed some of our documents.
Is that right?
I'm so very sorry, but I have to collect your personal information yet again.
Uh-huh, here we go. So I'm gonna go do that. Spot hidden and psychology. Yeah, I'll go this way. Yeah.
Thank you for this information, Mr. Pierce. Our files will soon be up to date. And on a related matter, may I raise a sensitive question?
What's wrong?
As you know, we wish to closely monitor the progress of our contractors. And it would seem you've been accepting fewer new cases.
Work is scarce.
Mr. Pierce, you know as well as I do there's never been more investigative work than now.
But are those cases worth it?
They're worth not losing your license. Show yourself worthy of the Wentworth Detective Agency, and we might keep you on the payroll. Mr. Pierce, you still...
I'm coming.
Sir, I came here on the advice of a person whom I hold in high esteem. and I must say that I expected anything but a drunkard's lair.
You're free to leave anytime, sir.
Do you know to whom you speak?
Stephen Webster, industrialist and art collector. All of Boston knows you.
Tell me, Mr. Pierce, are you capable of handling a new case, or are you simply a deadbeat inebriate?
If you come to me, it means you're desperate.
Nobody believes me. They take me for an old fool. Sarah, my little girl, she is dead. Even you must know of her. She was Sarah Hawkins.
The painter? Yes. Everyone knows her work.
The police accuse her of killing her family. They all died in a fire. Sarah, her husband, and Simon, my grandson.
I can't do anything for a woman who is already dead.
Find out the truth. They say she was mad, but I know that's a lie. She would never have done such a thing.
But if you have no proof...
I've brought all that I have. Look. I want you to look carefully at this painting. Tell me all the assumptions that come to mind.
What am I supposed to find?
Tell me if this is the work of madness. Or if, on the contrary, you manage to detect some logic, a rationality to follow so that I may understand it.
Is that all you want from me?
Yes, please.
All right. I'll look at your picture. That's all you've got? The painting?
I placed a file on your desk. It contains everything I have on the affair.
Let's check a look at the file.
A warehouse on Darkwater. Some sketches of the Hawkins family. Rather thin.
Better than nothing. Shipping label, some of it is unreadable, but I can make out the part of the address, warehouse 36, Darkwater. Police reports, it says that the fire started in the family dining room, claimed the whole family. Police decided on a domestic accident, but they nevertheless insisted on Sarah Hawkins' mental frailty. Why? A press cutting, an article written about the marriage of Sarah and Charles Hawkins, a businessman from the island of Darkwater. They live a recluse life there with their only son, Simon. Okay, well, let's take a look at the old...
Its strange beauty isn't enough to hide the feeling of dread it carries.
So, Mr. Pierce, what do you make of these elements?
Okay, let's ask a question.
You must tell me if what the police suggest about the mental state of your daughter is true.
No. Sarah had visions. Everyone knew that. She never would have hurt a fly. She only thought she saw things.
Saw things? What do you mean by that?
I never knew what she meant by that. My daughter was an enigmatic figure, Mr. Pierce. You must find out the truth about her life and death.
Her husband was a big deal on the island. But the police are sticking to the accident theory. Though they mentioned Sarah's mental state was fragile. I believe you are right, sir. This case is not as simple as it appears.
I am aware of that. I believe there is more to this case than just an accident.
The sender's label mentions Warehouse 36.
That's right. It came with Sarah's last painting.
And you think your daughter could have been the sender?
That is what you must find out. Go to Darkwater. Find Warehouse 36.
Darkwater? Never heard of the place. Where is that?
It's a small, remote island off the coast of Boston. Sarah lived there with her son and her husband.
I suppose you want to ship me off there.
Darkwater holds the secret regarding my daughter, Mr. Pierce. You must uncover it.
The sender's label mentions Warehouse 36.
That's right. It came with Sarah's last painting.
And you think your daughter could have been the sender?
That is what you go to Dark.
I think I'm beginning to understand.
I'm willing to do anything for my daughter to recover her honor.
Quiet down. I'm on your side. Let's sum things up. An artist dies with her family in a house fire. Your only clue is a sort of promontory painting sent from Darkwater right before her death.
Correct. And the rumors about her supposed folly.
Which you don't totally deny.
Find that warehouse. Find out the truth regarding Sarah Hawkins' death. You'll be handsomely compensated.
All right. I'll take the case. I'll go to Darkwater and look into the death of your daughter.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. I didn't expect any less coming from a man in your situation.
Something's queer. But it's not like I have a choice.
Jesus. This is eerie.
Darkwater. I think I've got a book on the North Atlantic. I'll no doubt find some information on this island in there.
It's always...
I used to be an avid reader.
Oh, yep, there we are. Yep, like that's what I was mentioning earlier about the books making the kind of the medical journals essentially.
Natural sciences, linguistics, archaeology.
The medical journals that would increase your level.
Darkwater is off the coast of Boston.
Your level of.
But I've never heard of it. According to this book, it was often mentioned during whale hunting times at the end of the 19th century. But it seems to have been shunned since then.
Yeah, so that's like what I mentioned. The medical journals increase your medicine skill, and the occult books that you find scattered about the island, but I don't think they really come until a little bit further in, at least to my knowledge. That those increase your occult skill. Darkwater Island has been inhabited since the 14th century and is still rich with the many memories left by its tribes. Its lost tribes. But don't let the romanticism of these moving evidences of such naive and primitive beliefs fool you into forgetting how violent their gods were. A gigantic creature still ornates the walls of long-abandoned caves. Was it a sea or a dream god? No one knows, but today's inhabitants, the sons and daughters of the proud whale hunters, still remember the mysterious and tumultuous history of their small land off the coast of Massachusetts.
All I have to do is go to the port. I just hope that I can find a boat able to take me to Darkwater.
Yeah. That might be tough. Sailors are pretty... Put my hat. No. Yeah, sailors are obvious. Pierce took the Hawkins case. The cursed artist is accused of having caused the fire that killed her and her family. The only clue she left her father a disturbing painting. On the shipping label and address, a warehouse set on the docks of the island of Darkwater. The place seems to be the starting point for Pierce's investigation.
almost there.
Call of Cthulhu. Cthulhu. I don't know. Come on, these are the jokes. Oh, Celia, Skyla, Skyla. It's the giant. It's the three-headed dragon creature from The Woman. I'll flash a picture of it on the screen. Well, they're already getting ready on the boat.
Stay on board. There's guys coming to unload. Welcome to Darkwater Island, Mr. Pierce.
Why, thank you, Captain Fitzroy.
So, what wind brought you?
Does the Hawkins case mean anything to you?
A sad story that we would all prefer to forget. Charles Hawkins may have been a landlubber, but he was a good man.
And his wife, Sarah Hawkins.
A nice young woman, and a great painter. What a tragedy. You know what? Go have a drink at the Stranded Whale. What you need is a good pick-me-up. Mitchell may not be very welcoming, but his bar holds a surprise for you. As for me, you'll find me at the Harbor Master's office. If it's the Hawkins family that brings you here, I have a pile of documents that should interest you.
Understood. I'm going for a look around the docks.
Alright.
Please move back. Let the police do their work. Hey, Sullivan, the same goes for you, sir. Move along.
I'm looking for this address. Warehouse 36, Darkwater Harbor.
Ah. And so who are you?
I didn't introduce myself. Edward Pierce, private detective.
In any case, it's not very important. I can't answer that.
You can't? Or you don't want to?
Oh, no. I'm not getting into those games, me. Now, please, allow me to do my job.
You can't understand. You're not sailors. It's a sign. There's something coming. Something real bad. Don't put that...
The blood is just beginning to coagulate. It died a short time ago. Only a specialist would know what killed him.
You can't understand. You're not sailors. It's a sign. There's something coming. Something real bad. Don't put that beast back in the cops. They can't understand. Damn stupid idiots.
Prohibition is just a joke around here. That suits me fine.
We are. We don't want to go down there yet.
Hey, be careful. Let's get him another drink. He's dry.
In my bar, we don't serve troublemakers.
You saw what happened. He's the troublemaker.
Oh, you're a true mainlander. A real princess. You strut around with your la-di-da ways, and then, as soon as the pressure arises, you start squealing. You don't have what it takes to drink my whiskey. You've got to earn it.
I'm here for information, not for a fight.
I prefer it that way. Speak then. I reserve the right to answer or not.
I didn't expect to find alcohol on this island. What's the source of this miracle?
You mean who? Our source of supply wouldn't like me to betray them to the first comer.
I'll tell nobody.
She'd know it anyway. Anything else?
Why the stranded whale?
The stranded whale. I guess this bar has been here a long time.
What can I tell you? I'm a nostalgic sort of guy. The name, it reminds us of the golden age of dock water, when our whalers left for long months and came back sweating and stinking of the oil and flesh of the whales they'd been hunting.
It was a tough time, all the same.
Ah, but steeped in glory. We've never known such wealth since then.
What can you tell me about it?
We all knew she was famous on the mainland for her paintings. Never understood why. Then, I don't want to speak ill of the dead.
Her vision. Was it so terrible?
Way I see it, the truth is really a question of point of view.
What do you mean by that?
Do you still trust the truth after a bottle of whiskey?
Her style made her famous. How would you describe it? Tortured?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't normal. I mean, for a young woman with a child and all that. We saw them in the papers and we said to ourselves, who can paint such things? Is that how she sees the world?
So they made you feel uncomfortable.
You need to see them for yourself. Make up your own mind.
I've got what I need.
Anything else?
Do you know where this place is? Warehouse 36, Darkwater Harbor.
The Hawkins warehouse. I see, yeah. If I were you, I wouldn't hang around there.
Why not?
First off, there are rumors. Sailors from around here say you can hear noises coming from the warehouse at night. Screams, that sort of thing.
Screams?
And that's not all. There's the fate of its owners and all the superstitions that go with it. But I'll say no more. Anything else?
Captain Fitzroy told me about a little pick-me-up.
Oh, yeah? That must have been before you came looking for a fight in my bar.
Oh, come on. Because of a little tussle.
Drinking it here is a privilege, and I grant the privilege to whoever I want. Anything else?
That'll be all for now. The miraculous catch. Apparently, the most significant event of the last 80 years.
The CO returns to port to save Darkwater from famine. We'd given up hope the crew of the city, or what remains of it, returned to Darkwater port late on Tuesday afternoon. Locals immediately rushed to docks to welcome the last whaling ship on the island. People were amazed at the sight of the unbelievable catch the brave vessel had on board. Of a size that went beyond that of the formidable toothed whales, the cetacean that had already been called the miraculous catch covered the whole deck, and parts of it were hanging over the side of the ship. Surviving sailors told of a frightening account of their perilous catch, but also of its meat, unmatched in quality, plentiful, nutritious benefits. There's no doubt that the immense size of the whale will allow numerous inhabitants of Darkwater to feed themselves, bringing an end to famine for which part of the island was suffering. Warehouse for rent. Mr. Marks is putting out his warehouse for rent for June for fishing, workshops, for storage activities. You can contact him via your favorite newspaper or visit him on the docks. Stranded whale. Celebrate the return of a brave whaler. The staff of the Stranded Whale invite you to an exceptional free tasting event. Come with your family and friends to taste the miraculous catch. Each person will leave a bottle of oil, so don't hesitate.
And the doctor, what did he say?
He laughed. My God.
Nightmares. Can hear things and voices whispering. Will follow its reader and appear at various locations, gifted with its own consciousness, until it finds a new reader. Ah, that's it. Maybe we should let him take it. No, the risks are too high. It's a book, after all. Pure knowledge.
Do you like our song?
We're true sirens.
Something like that.
We may not be pros, but we give it all we've got.
I like to
That's
check
true. It's a reminder of the time when we were still fishing for whales off Darkwater Island.
What brought whaling to an end?
The whales, of course.
They all disappeared.
You exhausted the stocks.
You could say that, yes. There were fewer and fewer of them.
Until the last, the biggest.
The one of the miraculous catch.
Exactly.
I've never heard this song before.
Only people from here know it. It tells the story of the miraculous catch.
I saw the newspaper clipping. You don't believe it, do you?
Watch what you say, young man.
That catch saved our island.
Ah. Where's the proof?
We're the proof.
Without it, the whole of Darkwater would have died of hunger in 1847.
It's true. Everything happened just as it says in the newspaper report. Our grandparents tasted its flesh.
And it was delicious.
I bid you farewell, gentlemen.
Good night, stranger.
So long.
I had to bring all the girly boys. I was where the men fly home. And the old green lands I see ground.
What you looking at, stranger?
I've rarely seen a woman who can hold her liquor so confidently.
What gives you the right to judge me?
Ah, it was a compliment.
So what? Let me drink, stranger.
So, yeah, it's a pretty, pretty interesting place.
Charles Hawkins was a heavy drinker. And a debtor. Interesting.
Nightmares. Can hear things and voices whispering. Will follow its reader and appear at various locations.
You have no right to
Gifted with
treat
its
us
own consciousness. Until it finds a new reader.
Shame. Let's go to the docks.
Damn stupid idiots.
Forget it. Nobody listens to us anyway.
That's no way to treat an omen.
Oh, yeah? He's gonna get us into trouble. You can't understand. You're not sailors.
You can see that I'm busy, can't you?
You can't understand.
Don't put that beast back in the water, you shysters. You're crazy.
They're cops. They can't understand.
Damn stupid idiots.
Come on, can we sort this out? You can see he's half drunk.
There's nothing
There's
for you
nothing
here
to
either.
Sort out.
Beat
Your
it.
chum wanted to stir us up.
But you can stay to watch if you want. You can pick up the pieces.
Come on, you bastard. You'll see what a true sailor's got in his belly. You hear that? You bilge rats don't scare me.
What did he call us just now?
I said you were a bilge rat. And even a pox limpet. You think we don't know what you're doing? Hidden in the fog?
I'll shut up your big mouth once and for all.
Optimistic.
Okay. So, lovely characters in Darkwater.
A souvenir from a more prosperous era. I guess this blackboard hasn't been wiped for more than 70 years. The Scylla.
Scylla.
It finished up beached at the entrance to the harbor.
Oh yeah, let's take the name of the journal. So, almost there. Oh yeah, I have a skill point. Yeah, so I'll put 1 point into there. So Darkwater. Stephen Webster, wealthy businessman, well respected in the Boston area, came to see me in order that I investigate the death of his only daughter, Sarah Hawkins. Accepts my refusal, nor inconvenient truths, tried to do anything to prove his daughter was not mad. Charles Hawkins, deceased ship owner, local celebrity, heir of ship owner family, used to travel a lot, fell in love with Sarah Hawkins in Paris, got married, moved to Darkwater, had a child named Simon, very secretive life. Known for her torture artistic universe, she was worshipped for her strangeness of her work and the rarity of her public appearance. I seem to remember that she once said, "I paint what my dreams whisper to me." Her marriage to Charles Hawkins years ago surprised high society columnists. A wealthy Boston heiress known for her party-going chooses to follow her new husband and live as a recluse on the island of Darkwater. She disappeared from the front pages of newspapers and nobody heard any more about her. Even her death in a fire remained a secret. Only her father, Stephen Webster, continued to seek the truth. Yeah, that's runs the only bar in Darkwater. Prohibition has no hold. Sarah's come to seek comfort in Mitchell's whiskey, and the man therefore knows more than anyone. Secrets and rumors that the inhabitants of the island exchange for after a few glasses. Devoted to the golden age of whaling. If numerous sources that decorate the establishment or anything to go by, man will talk freely on the subject on which he's so keen, but he will be far less enthusiastic if one was to inquire about his source of liquor. It seems the world has forgotten the very existence of this isolated rock off the coast of Boston. Small, inhospitable island whose coastline is made up of steep cliffs, sharp reefs, and only one outlet to the sea. Mainly inhabited by the descendants of whalers who set up a supply post there in the 1800s. It was hit severely by collapse of this activity. I think that the only venture on this island still profitable is the medical institute. That's generally not a very good sign. At the entrance of the port of Darkwater, one still passes in front of the shell of the Scylla, the last whaling ship to have brought back a catch. Sailors wanted the docks, looking for some small job for the day. A gang of bootleggers has set itself up there, gnawing away at the territory of Captain Fitzroy. The last sailor to own a boat capable of making round trip between the island and mainland. Here the golden age of whaling hunting is but a distant memory. but where liquor is served with total impunity. It's the last thing I expected to find when I arrived on this island. Stranded Whale is its name. It's managed with an iron hand by the owner, a certain Mitchell. He does not tolerate troublemakers, and he fiercely protects the identity of his supplier. All the inhabitants of the area seem to go there, and I even saw what looks to be a truce between the bootleggers and the sailors. Artist Sarah Hawkins. Intuitive visionary artist some, overpriced imposter for others. Sarah Hawkins leaves nobody indifferent. This mysterious and reserved painter offers strange images with violent colors and wild strokes to the world. If her paintings are a testimony to her vision of the world, then the world of Sarah Hawkins is a portal to open to other dimensions. Extract from the notebook of Edward Pierce, private detective. So that's her son, that's her, and that's someone? Cthulhu? Cthulhu. Oh yeah, there's fire behind it too. Yeah, this is the... Yeah. We are. Yes, I'm digging around his stuff. Don't worry about it.
This man and Fitzroy could be twins.
Peculiar.
What a macabre souvenir.
Oh, it's a leg. Macabre.
I wonder what Captain Fitzroy has got to say about this human cat.
The terms of our agreement are clear. Keep your men under control. You cannot afford to provoke us. You need to answer to this message. No need to answer this message. I'll make sure your payment to... Just make your payments to the carrier.
Broken. This place seems half abandoned.
I've brought out the Charles Hawkins cargo manifests. They're on the table next to you. But in truth, you're likely to be disappointed. When you're done, come join me on the deck.
These manifests are signed by Charles
Well,
Hawkins.
1890, 1907, and
That's all.
apparently partially the rest of the document is blacked out. Who would want this information to be hidden?
Broken. This place seems half abandoned.
From here, I see everything that goes on in the harbor. The hard-working lives of my sailors, the fights at the stranded whale. Even the antics of these wharf rats don't escape me.
It's you who lays down the law around here.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I'm just the last serving captain on Darkwater. Tell me what I can do to help you.
I found a threatening letter, signed by a certain cat.
What? I don't mind you visiting my harbor master's office, but I'd prefer if you didn't go through my affairs.
Are you being blackmailed?
Not exactly, no. That shyster wants to make us pay protection money.
With any success?
I wouldn't say that, but she terrifies my men as much as her own.
Can you not do anything to stop her?
Don't you worry about that.
I was looking at your photograph. One of the man in front of the boat.
Ah, yes, I can see the one you're talking about.
Interesting resemblance. I thought it was you, but with a wooden leg.
And for good reason. That's my father in the photograph.
Your father?
John Fitzroy, captain of the Scylla. His wooden leg is here. You can go and see it if you're interested.
I'm just back from the wharves. The dead killer whale is unsettling the sailors.
Ah, yes. Us men of the sea are superstitious folk.
Killer whales don't have many known predators.
That's true. And normally, they're not found around here. But, you're gonna take me for a fool.
Give it a try.
Have you heard about the depths? Trenches that plunge into the earth and that shelter creatures unlike any other.
You're talking about mythology.
Ha! Indeed, you're right.
The police took the decision to put the killer whale back into the sea.
You've got to understand them. They didn't know what to do with it.
I think that was a mistake. Who says that whatever caused those wounds is no longer in these waters?
You think we should have kept it?
To look into the real cause of its death, at least. The miraculous catch. Is it a local legend?
Not at all. It's an episode from our glorious past. Go read the story of the sailor's return to Darkwater Harbor. It's displayed on a wall of the stranded whale.
I'm looking for Warehouse 36. Do you know where it is?
Look, it's right there. The warehouse is opposite the jetty. You can't miss it.
Understood.
You know who the building belongs to, don't you?
It belonged to the Hawkins family.
Precisely. Ship owners from father to son.
I think that somebody here wanted me to search this warehouse. Your manifests have been blacked out. They're totally unreadable.
Yeah, I saw that. I've got no idea who did it or why. I don't remember having countersigned anything special enough for someone to hide it.
And why obliterate the dates, as well as the goods stored in the warehouse?
You mean that the dates have some meaning?
I'm surprised Charles Hawkins had goods to store, knowing that whaling stopped in 1847.
I see that you're interested in the history of our island. Indeed, maritime activities ceased altogether at the end of the last century. I imagine that the Hawkins family had other types of contracts.
But you don't know with whom?
No, it was none of my business.
All right.
I shall be on my way.
So come back and see me when you've got something new.
So we're gonna go ahead and my journal, new skills. James Fitzroy, Captain of the Caribbean, the only boat still sails between Darkwater and Boston. His base is at the Harbor Master office, from where he business nothing that happens on the island. It happens to Darkwater respect him, the bootleggers despite him. He offered to help me in my investigation. Photograph of Captain Fitzroy. Friending letter. Manifest. I mean...
You saw what happened with those sailors. Don't hang around here unless you want trouble with the bootleggers.
I've seen the kind of messages their boss sends. You're not scared of her.
Of course I am. Everyone's scared of that woman. She's not interested in small fry like me. You, on the other hand, nose around too much, you'll have dealings with her.
This warehouse looks abandoned. Why does it interest them so much?
No doubt a question of territory, but I ain't asking. If you want to know more, go ask the captain.
Good. Thank you. I shall take my leave.
Shall now go back to the captain, and shall go back to the Z captain.
You're back again. What can I do for you?
Apparently the bootleggers...
They're part of the private property I mentioned earlier.
And yet the place looks abandoned. Why guard the entrance?
As a precaution, I suppose. All the warehouses are more or less interconnected by old sewers.
You mean that there's a way to go from one to the other by tunnel?
I couldn't tell you if it's still the case today for all the warehouses on the island, but I think I can imagine what you've got in mind. You can always visit them if you're not the claustrophobic type.
Maybe you are. Tunnels. Why would they be connected with, kinda odd that it'd be connected by tunnels. Maybe there's like a reason. It's like transfer goods easily or something. I don't know.
This tunnel goes under the warehouses. I could use this old winch to lift the grating.
Da ba da 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 da.
This handle will be perfect for the winch.
We are. Oh, there's more. I need to get more.
A ratchet device. Exactly what I need. A whale vertebra. If the newspaper clipping in the bar is true, this bone is a real fossil.
Dang, man. Oh yeah, if it isn't obvious puzzles, maybe a little bit difficult at times. But I enjoy this game. I think I'm gonna end it soon as we finish up the chapter. I think that's fair. Shoot. Oh, yes,
It
that's
should
right.
be possible to mount this cogwheel on the winch.
Hang on real quick. Settings, controls. Totally forgot.
Looks like everything is in its place. All I have to do is turn this handle.
Also, I want to make it clear, I'm doing this while sitting in the dark, so,
Smoke. It's coming from this oil. I hope it's not toxic.
fuck. That was interesting.
This is primitive.
Oop,
Ugh, this place stinks. What is the connection between this place and the Sarah Hawkins case?
so real quick. Yeah, so we got a thing for sanity, and we're gonna make our I'm gonna finish up, make our psychology 3. Sanity. The submerged city. While investigating the Hawkins warehouse, Pierce entered a partly submerged tunnel that ran under the docks. Something took hold of his arm and dragged him down beneath the surface, drowning the detective. Caught glimpses of human and animal bodies, as well as an underground city. Pierce managed to make it back to the surface and discovered that rather than tentacles, it was seaweed that wrapped itself around his arm. The vision nonetheless disturbed him by its clarity and violence. Okay, so worth mentioning, we have something called sanity, and that basically confident in your abilities and your Cartesian mind. You conduct your investigation by sticking to the facts, your convictions, and your perceptions of reality. Your conclusions are logical and reliable. It's essentially, over time, our sanity might degrade. Actually, it's very much a definite, especially as we get closer in regards to, like, issues regarding Cthulhu and the likes. And it's my favorite part of the game. This is where we get to be detective.
What happened here? Who has enough money to buy painkillers but stays in a place like this? It smells as bad as it looks. Can't sleep. I know how that feels.
Le Petit Parisien.
Is this one of Sarah Hawkins' paintings? What is this picture of Charles and Sarah Hawkins doing here?
Someone has settled in here.
And whoever it is has something to tell me about the Hawkins case. Is there anyone in there? You! Don't move! Detective Pierce. I told you to stay away from this warehouse.
It's clear that you knew the victims. I'm sorry to dig up bad memories.
I can still see the poor child lying burned on the floor of their drawing room. We had to tear him off. The marks must still be there. They're in my mind anyway.
It's horrendous. I'm going to need your experience to bring him justice, Officer Bradley. Can you explain what this painting is doing here?
This strange portrait. Wait, I know it. It was in the Hawkins mansion when we came to investigate the fire.
So you confirm that it was removed from the crime scene? Interesting. I'd like to go and see the mansion now.
Of course. You want to go back along his trail? I'd like to understand how this painting made it to here. Come on. My car's parked down the way. Andrews, would you please shut the door? And open your eyes, damn it. This guy went right under your nose. God damn it. Her again. This case has nothing to do with you, Baker. Clear the passage or I'll shut you up for obstruction.
Officer Bradley, you've finally grown a pair. Too bad you're too fat to see them down there.
Why you?
Come on, keep the smile. You don't want to force me to widen it.
Okay, I get it. Can we go to the mansion now?
Who the hell are you? What were you doing on my turf? I've got my eye on you. We'll meet again.
I don't think we will.
Is it far, this mansion?
Look behind you, at the top of the ridge. You see the building? That's the Hawkins mansion. Come on, we got some driving to do.
Yeah, Pierce managed to get into the warehouse. The place thought to be abandoned revealed some surprises. Signs of recent occupation as well as partly charred painting. Interrupted by a searching by Officer Bradley, Pierce convinced them to join his investigation. Police officers willing to drive the detective to Hawkins' mansion.
Well, here we are. Hawkins Mansion. The place has been abandoned since the fire. There's only old Winchester in his hut.
Okay guys, I'm gonna end this off here. I hope you guys all enjoyed this first episode. I'm hoping that it'll be something that we can continue on. My hope and my desire is that we can get through this. I plan to put out at least, I want to put out Crusader Kings 2 alongside this. My goal for that, we'll see when that video comes out. I'm going to try to roleplay in that one. And I know I've been saying feminist thing I'm going to put out. I've just been lazy. Yeah, and school has, but it's on top of just being lazy. School has been pretty freaking hectic. I'll put out more Stellaris as well this weekend, I'm hoping, and yeah. I just wanted to do some Cthulhu, cause why not? And it's something different, a little eerie, something a little bit different, a little bit more recent too. So, yeah. Alright, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy, please like, comment, and if you would be so kind and you want to see more, please subscribe. And until then, enjoy. Bye.